session and the last class, we are going to have with a eminent speaker, Professor O.P. Tripathi. Professor O.P. Tripathi is presently head of Department of Environmental Science, Mizoram University. And sir is today going to talk about the environment, climate change, and the natural resources of Eastern Himalaya. So very interesting topic. Sir is going to talk. So now with this small introduction, sir, I am handing over the session for your lecture, sir.
Okay, thank you. Manoj Saab,
Yes, sir.
just let me know that the slide is moving or not.
Yeah.
Then I can start after that.
Yeah. So make it presentation mode, then sometimes. Yeah, now it is moving, sir. Make it presentation mode, sir.
Okay, next. Next slide is moving.
So now one time it move. You change, not moving now.
Then to presentation mode, I think it will not move. Then
now, yeah, now it is moving, sir.
Okay, but presentation mode is not moving, no?
No, your slide is not went in presentation mode till now.
Now it is in presentation mode. Is
no,
moving.
For us, it is not in presentation mode, sir.
This is presentation mode. Now it is moving.
No,
going to next slide.
No, not moving, sir.
Please allow me to go in this mode only.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now, very good afternoon to one and all. This is O.P. Tripathi. As the participants from the different disciplines, so I brought the very simple concept of ecology, environment, something on the climate change and the resources that we are, because we are blessed. We are lying in such a place where the bioresources are very high. And we all know that we ranked among the mega diversity countries and one of the hottest spot. Even we lies in the hottest spot also once they go at the higher rate of endemism and all. So how our environment is, so some basic literature that is available. So I will talk on it with respect to the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So if we will look off, like we are interacted with the close interactions. We study in ecology the food chain, food web concepts and all. So like this slide, if we will see that the diagram represents how the various lives under this given environment and all in the form of either chain, one is connected with other is connected with other in one or other form. Like we say that generally we talk in the plant perspective, then we say that as they are the producer, so they synthesize food, and then there are trophic levels, then primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and there may be many relies as a primary consumer on the producers and all, and they form even sometimes we call it wave kind of interaction among themselves. The food wave, we say. The basic concept is this. So we are part of environment, and along with the other organism, biota, that is ecology, the home where the life resides in a simple concept. All of Earth, our inhabitants, are interwoven in complex of wave relationship. That is, in conceptually, it is food wave. Interaction of the parts affect the whole system, and depending on the role, they may be categorized into the different categories. Like there are concepts says food keystone. Maybe let's say one plant on which there are 20 lives resides. If we will remove the keystone species or umbrella species, then automatically the 20 will be affected because of that. So in that situation, we have to take care of is not that if we are affecting one, other is not affected. other will be automatically affected as of this interrelationship among each other. That's what it says, that if we are removing or altering, forest degradation, forest disturbance, forest encroachment, then because is the place where the most of the producers lies on. So in those concepts, if we are any of it, either altering, damaging, or removing, then we are affecting the entire system. Entire interactions are automatically impacted by this. Like if we will look off the literature in the concepts of removal or damage, then sometime you will find, let's say a forest of suppose 5 square kilometer, and a road is proposed and is going to pass through it, and we are saying maybe zero point 0.1 hectare area is impacted because of this. But this 0.1 hectare area impacts will be evaluated only based on from where it is going. If let's say its impact is less, if it is going from the periphery of the forest, then no edges, no fragments, so least impact will be out there. But suppose I am taking this road from the center of the forest, then one forest has been broken into two. So one part is automatically clean, and then indirect impact of wind movement, light movement. And if we will look off all the biota that is residing out there, nowadays they are very particular to their specific need. So those who has a very specialized niche, so they cannot tolerate. So in that situation, the impact will be huge. Many they may be lost. So it's not that at what rate we are damaging, where we are the damage or encroachment or fragmentation is caused, we must look up so that the environment of that community should not be severely altered. Because if so, then the life who are influenced by that surrounding environment will be impacted at the level on which they are exposed. Literature says that the many consequences of doing so are unpredictable. So understanding how the whole operates in critical for humankind if we are to survive. Like nowadays you might be keep on hearing sustainable development goal. All these, the manufacturer, the producer, the food, the plant needs to be protected, conserved, so that its production can be in position to meet the ever-growing demand with certain scientific and technological interventions. The down diagram that had been that is very simple, like how the composition goes. Our smallest unit is the atom. Combined together forms the molecule or compound. Then cell organelles are formed. Then cell. In cell, group of cells forms the tissue. Tissue forms the organ. And organ compilation, it goes to the one. So there are in ecology term, art ecology, population ecology, community ecology. So if we will look up like it is an interaction of the life and environment. No? So if we are describing one individual, let's say myself in the environment where I am, how I am impacted. And if this study had been carried out for a certain period of time, then we are describing the art ecology, right? Like this. One organism in the prevailing environment had been described. And if like me, there are many, like plantation forest or let's say man, and man. And if they together are explained with respect to the environment interactions, then we are talking to the population, and group of population forms the community. So most of the study, you will find that the community level studies are going on to understand the system as a whole. But if somewhere nowadays you might be looking up the literature where people, they are working for a plant from decades, that is because maybe that plant is very precious, having high value. I want to propagate in more and more. Therefore, I am keep on working. Or that particular population or individual is not going to sustain in prevailing environment. Like you might be keep on hearing, no? Many species are going to be rare, endangered, threatened, and vulnerable. Different group of community based on the level of pressure on which they are exposed, as well as the population surviving. In that concept, they have been grouped into classifications of the IUCN. So now we are conducting a study in respect to interaction individually only when these situations emerges. Like you might be knowing, many medicinal value are associated with, there is a herb called panax. Many soap and all cosmetics you will find ginseng is added. There are tablet also we get for high vitamins and all, that is also constituent is ginseng. So like, because it has a high medicinal value, cosmetic and other industries, it has value. Therefore, that level of studies are going to be conducted. Otherwise, in general, we will be talking to the individual level, community level. Now, to understand the environment or ecology, we have to understand 3-4 basic concepts. The habitat is very important, where habit resides. Habit is life. I am in this classroom, so this room is habitat for me, and habit I am. I am the habit, and this classroom is habitat. So we all know. But nowadays, the study has gone deeper to the habitat. That is niche. The niche describes the specific need of mine. Suppose I need the light in this classroom, but light is coming a meter far to me. So I am not going to be benefited by that light. And in this room, suppose there is a 10 lux of light, and that is the requirement. And of this room, but as I am not benefited directly, indirectly of it hardly scattered light because of that atmospheric interaction and all, which goes my scattering, non-selective scattering, and then the Rayleigh scattering in atmosphere, and same on the ground also, absorption, reflection, and then the scattering. So scattered light we get. So that scattered light is not meeting my demand. Therefore, I am negatively impacted in this habitat. But overall, this habitat is favorable to me, but my demand is partially fulfilled. So if I have to sustain here, then definitely that light should be brought to me. Otherwise, I should be translocated to that position where there is a light. Neither in future, my population will not sustain there. So there is no sustainable management of this. That's why people started working on researches on niche level. Nowadays, very popular concept, all of us we might be getting in literature, niche modeling, right? And wherever you will find the niche modeling, definitely there is a one biota associated with you, for which I am doing this modeling. This is something like modeling technological interventions in it, less the GIS, because nowadays the satellite data are available, so there are most users. Suppose I am taking just one example of rhinos of Assam. Uh, there are rhinos. Why not? If there is a lot of pressure in Kaziranga, then they can be shifted to here and there. There are many more national forest and biosphere reserves are there, other than the Kaziranga National Park. But we are unable to do that. That is because the required niche is not available out there. So by this technology, looking of the need of that biota and environment, all site characteristics, if we compile and we work out some landscape level of study, then we can model. In this Assam, these are the area where these kind of condition or these kind of requirements are. So we can translocate it. So that's why the niche. And then another is the concept is limiting factor. Uh, we all understand neither more is good nor less is good. So optimum need. Otherwise, the growth will be suppressed. Our regeneration will be suppressed. Population dynamics will be. So every character limits. And then we have carrying capacity. Every piece of land, it can accommodate given number. We cannot give more than it. Otherwise, they will be negatively impacted, not positively. So we have to understand how much it can accommodate. So that is called carrying capacity. With respect to anything, you can carrying capacity of room with respect to sitting or network or the plant that can be many of you might have seen there is a space between two plants this much meter, but other plant there will be more depending on the need and then the carrying capacity of habitat or and then range of tolerance. Now we might be looking of there are some very specialized niche range. Range is very specialized, and from having the wider range, we might be keep on hearing invasive non-native species. So most of it has the very high range of tolerance, wide range of tolerance. They can sustain in very low nutrient, they can sustain in high nutrient, low light, high light, less moisture, more moisture, vice versa. So that we have to understand. Otherwise, if these kind who having the wider range of tolerance coming to a habitat, then the specialized niche population will be lost. I am just referring everything with respect to plant. You can keep whatever example you want to keep, but the basic of the range of tolerance is this. We have to understand that uh, at what level it can sustain. But if we will look off, like before this slide, if we will look of the environment prevailing in Northeast India as a whole, uh, and with respect to rest part of country, the look of the geographical area, our contribution is very less. And if we will look of the ecosystem that terrestrial or aquatic, whatever ecosystem we have out here as a whole, then we are representing almost most of the class. Some who may have the background of, let's say, the life sciences or environmental science, geography, and other things, so they might be knowing that forest types of India and that are biogeographic zone of India, phytogeography, if we have concept on it, so the reason generally of doing this is if we can understand a phytogeography or biogeography, then wherever it is out there, your plan of action here can be implemented in that area blindly, and most of your action will work there successful. Blindly, if we are going, it may not be successful. So if we will look up, this work has been done by a forester long back, and they have a book also, forest types of area. So major classification, they said there are 16 group of landscape as per the prevailing environment, soil, life sustaining in that area, and the height and all of the what you call the altitude. So out of 16, who is representing the whole country, almost 13 and plus, 13 plus, I must say, we have in Northeast India. Because we don't have extreme dry, so maybe that is the one class. That tropical, dry evergreen, and sometimes maybe dry evergreen, and one more, because littoral and swamp we have lot many, and subtropical, temperate, and alpine, to all 9 class we have in Northeast India. So if we are so diverse, so definitely if biota, every habit, they need some specific habitat or niche. So more the diversity, more the probability of bioresources to be present out there. Our natural resources will be more out there. But I'm not going to that part. I am just coming back. At the same time, we are representing the most. We are blessed here. But at the same time, we have also lot pressure on our landscape. So this slide is talking about, look up the photograph. This land is denuded because of our zooming pattern. So maybe, I hope this is part of Arunachal Pradesh, probably, where the land has been cleaned. So we all know about this, particularly my colleague from Northeast India. So they are very acquainted with this. Maybe the colleague from rest part, this kind of farming practice may not be very common. So now it says that land use change. Now in present scenario is resulting severe negative impact on the humankind. That is because of environment is modified, our site as a whole modified. It means productivity modified. And we are very closely associated with the production of resources, because we derive many things from there directly. Indirectly, though, is fine, but directly also, we are deriving many things from this piece of land. So if many of it is damaged, definitely our lifestyle, food habit, physiology will be altered. Now, if we will look up the existence, then everything is dependent on how the cycling, biogeochemical cycling is taking place in that landscape, because renewal is very important. Only exploitation will be harmful. Take the example of Punjab. They are the best producer of or maximum producer of wheat. But now they have also gone for different land use, like they are integrated farming, they are moving, because like more extraction was there of the water resources because of more application of fertilizer. So soil texture or biogeochemical cycle of that land had been altered. And because of that, productivity has declined. So many places, if you happens to visit Punjab, you will find the plants are planted all around, or before growing the agricultural crop, they will plant some leguminous plant. They will allow it to grow for some time, and then they will plow it. That is because they want to change the soil texture, or they want to enrich the organic nutrient in the soil, or further buffer, because all exposed land, so evapotranspiration will be, or loss of moisture from the soil will be rapid. In that given context, it is harmful. Same in photograph also. If this kind of situation will come, soil moisture will be lost very easily. The litter lying on it may not decompose fast, and vice versa. Therefore, the cycle will be uh, impacted. Availability of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, the major elements, will be less, as well as runoff and other thing will go on. So we have to look up. And nowadays, like keeping this plant in consideration, a lot of negotiations are going on in climate change mitigation, and certain adaptation measures are being made out on it. Thereby the carbon capture and all studies are going on this, how the land use changes. Because like these are the blazed area, northeastern region, let's say, or take the entire Himalayan region. Rest part or most part of the countries are deriving their benefit because of this only. Either getting the perennial water bodies in the form of river or what, or timber or good air, so on and so forth. So we have to work for this to manage this. Otherwise, we will lose the habitat, we will lose the bioresources, and vice versa. Same again, it is talking of, I thought that I will show that how the environment is going to be damaged. If see all a surrounded portion may be very good environment, but if it is exposed to poor environment, poor nutrient availability. But as I am attached with this land, so I need some food grains also. That's why I am doing this. But as a experts, if I have to say, then definitely I will say that why not integrated farming other than complete clearing of this land. Nowadays, a lot of slope land technology is available, integrated farming is available, multi-layer agroforestry systems are available. Although the productivity will be slightly less, but input cost and all, it is like overall benefit that we are going to derive, it is going to be sustainable. So this is the case out here. And we can further look up this. Now the burn terraces and all have been made out here. Some plants are left. So if some scientific interventions we can give out here more, so like the plants that are planted on the bunds, they can be of leguminous, they can be of some fodder crop, depending on the requirement of the society. Some horticultural crop. So although the agriculture will be less, but if we will combine this horticulture also, or floriculture, or whatever we are going in on these bunds of the terraces where I am doing agriculture, the overall benefit is sometime more, if it's not less, uh, equal. It will be more. And at the same time, if we will see the cost benefit analysis, so in this, my investment will be very less. And thereby, my benefit will be more. So ratio will be very high in this, in spite if I am getting, suppose, equal amount. From same piece of land, if in open, let's say, settled farming, I am getting 100 rupees. And with this system also, I am getting 100 rupees. So in earlier system, I am investing 50 rupees. But here, hardly I have to invest 10 rupees. So this way, this is more beneficial as well as the sustainable also. So this can prove an excellent approach in this changing environment. Now to the general, this we all know, we are getting in all literature books and all. There are various elements present in the atmosphere, of which the nitrogen is one among the greater concentration, and then the and oxygen, oh sorry, carbon dioxide, we are bit buried because this can trap the sunlight, and then greenhouse gas effect and all that, you know, because if simply technically we have to understand, then let's say the, just a minute, if technically we have to understand the incident energy, the energy which is coming from sun, the sunlight, so the strength of it will be more as compared to once it is going up, because there are a certain composition of the atmosphere in table we can see like this. After that, there may be cloud, there may be suspended particulates matter, gases present in the atmosphere, so they will trap some. So once they are like coming on the ground, then again there will be some if we will look of energy matter interactions. So generally absorption, scattering and reflection, three phenomena takes place. So once reflection we will look of, so they will be slightly weaker than the incident, the one which is coming. And because of this, they are unable to cross. So lower substratum, let's say up to, we say that 7 or 10 kilometer or 15 kilometer, these elements are there, and up to certain kilometer life is out there. So there they remain trapped, and because of that the temperature rises, whom we were calling the greenhouse gas effect and all. Anyway, so we have to understand this, because if temperature rises, many physiological disorder may take place, or many ecosystem functioning will be impacted. Thereby, we have to have the study on this, and look of like a pre-industrial time, somewhere around 260 ppm, they were started talking to the carbon. Now it is 400 ppm, and then every government is uh, crying, and everybody had the policy like 2070 vision or 2030 vision to like stabilize the release of the carbon in the atmosphere and all. Lot of studies nowadays going on carbon capture, storage, carbon equivalent, carbon footprint, carbon trading, all are going on only to how to like regulate this, because like a lot of study you will find impact of let's say the temperature or light on the physiology, phenology, growth, growing season, all. So if I have to take the phenology like annual calendar, so now you look up, many growing period had been changed, because either I am not getting the desired light intensity at that temperature. Thereby, the flowering or fruiting or decomposition or germination, they are impacted. Thereby, lot of nowadays shift is going on, and new breeds people they are working. Like you will find that the wild variety we are introducing. Sometimes somewhere I was saying like nowadays you will get that the apple dotted no pears. You look the peel of mm, apple and pears. So now apple also it is white spots, no, which is common phenomenon for the pears fruit, not for the apple. That is just because that we have to either resistance, we have to increase sweetness or sourness, we have to, or we have to we did for the storage, increasing the storage so that it can be stored for longer period than what is out there. But on existence also, how the environment impact can be minimized on this crop. That is in could be also one reason because of which this kind of study. So a lot of and if we have to look for like this the concentration that I have said that if we have to look also these kind of diagrams you have available everywhere in the meteorology, climatology, or anybody who is working on climate and all, no? Because we need long-term data. Under that sense, if we will see that report says that sometime 0.7 or somewhere it has been said 1.5 degree in centuries, the temperature has been raised. And because of that, certain modelings are there, which says that if this is there, that will happen. That is going to happen because if trend continues, which has been continued in the past 100 years, if same continues, then this will happen. But that may not happen also, or not happening also, because ice melting, lot of literatures were available there. No? In 2030, there will be sea level will be rise by this much meter, and then so much part of the globe will be submerged, and nothing is happening. Is just because that these are giving a lesson to the policy maker to negotiate upon, to work upon, so that if we cannot make it less, at least stabilize, we can do that. That's why now you will look off with concept to the our country India, many department like a component always remains with the plant. If this much of the total funds will be shifted or will be utilized for plantation and other activities, because this is the one who can capture the atmospheric carbon and can neutralize to some extent. And many countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, they are doing business on this forest also. Because the developed country like US, which is not signatory of IPCC, they don't, like they are industrialists, uh, all industrialized, no? So blame will go to them. So what they do that like how much they are releasing in the atmosphere. So some country like let's say the Thailand, they will own some forest area. For that they will pay to the government of Thailand, and they will say that that much the captures are there, and this much is released. So capture is there. So we should not be blamed. I may not have sufficient land to convert into the forest land, but in place, equal amount I am paying to some country who can do for me. So vice versa, things are going on. But this way, we are trying to look of the pattern, and then based on that, the policies are being made. In case of here, we will look of how we will be untouched in this changing scenario of climate. Definitely we may not have the vast impact, but as we have the plants more and purifying the local level, so is fine. But if it goes to the atmosphere level, the wind of some places coming warmer wind, and this cold wind is going somewhere, so somehow we are also impacted and witnessed. And keeping all this in its concept to prove it, then some study done by the ISC Bangalore and then Jhajaria from CAU. That time I think he was in Neris, and they looked up the centuries climate data of Northeast India, And then like they visualize that here also the sometime 0.1, sometime 0.5 uh, degree rise in temperatures are recorded, but this variation mostly lies on the seasonality basis. In season influences are there, and then so they have worked for the various because IMD has their own meteorological stations out here from where we can collect the data and we can do, especially the climatologists are working on it and they are trying to prove that what is going to happen. Like almost a century he worked. And then they reported that some area there is a more rainfall, in other area slightly less, or the periodicity of rainfall or intensity of rainfall is changing. Then we have to, if periodicity of rainfall is changing, then the all growing crops and all will be impacted. So we have to look for. But if intensity of rainfall is increasing, then what is that area where more uh, intense rain has taken? If it's denuded, exposed hilltops, then definitely there will be lot erosion and all, like flash flood and all is very common phenomenon in some part of the Northeast India. During rainy season, a lot of assets are damaged because of this. Many roads remains blocked and all. So, yeah, while looking this trend, like some of them can, the policy maker basically, they can work for remedial measures. So it's same. Now, like everything is going to be impacted by climate. So is out here. You some sectors have been said out here, like let's say the temperature, because this will regulate the moisture, uptake of the nutrients because of evapotranspiration, loss of moisture, and then elements are moving up and up. That precipitation very important, and based on precipitation only, there are all cropping patterns in case of agricultural crops. Take the example of Assam, we are taking 2-3 times rice in a year. You go to other parts of country, we get only 1 time. That is because of the more precipitation. And in precipitation, like previously I was talking, intensity and periodicity. So basically, periodicity is very important other than the intensity. For example, if we will take the, let's say I belong from Uttar Pradesh. We also have a 200 centimeter plus rainfall in a year. And if I have to take the Assam, which represents a major class of forest type, then there also the rainfall is same. But Assam, you visit, most part of Assam, you will find green and waterlogged area, all perennials. But my state, most of the time dry. That is because of the periodicity. Because here, that 200 or 220 centimeter rainfall in a year, we get almost 6, 7, 8 months. But there we get in 1-2 months. If rainy day we have to count, then hardly it may be 30 days, a month in general. It may be more also. I'm just saying that we have a clear rainy season of 3 months. Within 3 months, it may rain 1 month and 2 months may not rain or whatever it is, but it's 90 days. So that 90 days may support to another 90 days because intensity is very high, then most of it is runoff also. But here, sometime rain takes place of 10 centimeter, sometime 10 millimeter or 1 millimeter. So once the lesser rain is coming, then it gets a lot of time to percolate inside. So soil moisture remains available throughout the year. That's why here more greeneries are there. So like that, the precipitation and moisture is very important component. As you add carbon, nitrogen, potassium in soil and plant one plant there, and then make it dry. Like don't water is no use, because without moisture, that nitrogen phosphorus cannot go in different parts of the plant that we know. So in that given scenario, this periodicity plays a vital role. Atmospheric composition, because we have to work for the light and other. Then the extreme situations or variations in the pattern of this. All these together, climate. What way it was, the Ricard said, it's changing or not changing, that is one part, but it has made one sector. Now, if one sector influence, we have to look up like deforestation, degradation, and production. Now, if coupled with temperature, I am saying more, and then I am doing deforestation, then more severe impact. If we are degrading, then slightly lesser impact. But both of it negatively can impact the production capacity of that landscape. And if so, then you link the other dependent which are there on these forest resources, so they will be impacted. Or if we have to take the agriculture example same way, there are land degradation, loss in production, loss in diversity. Climate change can directly influence. Coupled with either, let's say the land degradation, sometime for some purpose it had been used, or more lime or more, let's say the acidic or sodic soil has been converted because of land use pattern and all, and then the production is less, we kept the abandoned. Or some waterlogged area, or some, if chemical effluents and other things are coming from some industry and passing through that, so lateral recharge of moisture, along with that, elements have moved in the agricultural field. So they are influencing. Like, is the lateral recharge in geology of Northeast India? No? Yeah, we are getting more arsenic content. And many reports are available. Because of this, many cancer patients are there in Northeast India. Oh, arsenic, which has been recharged through moisture and all. So that maybe whatever the elements they are coming, not the degradation, but because of some chemical which is harmful, the crop which I am growing, I cannot. Then in that case, land will be left abandoned and degraded, and so on and so forth. Improper or unscientific management of the land system, and thereby the production will be less. And sometimes like loss of diversity also. You look up in your, we all belongs from the place, we know there are diversity of crop in my area. Earlier, there are many variety of crops, agricultural crops are grown, but in due course of time, either lesser demand in the market, or lesser choice by the society, or low production. We are confined only to certain selective crops only. Many crops have been not grown. If I have to say, many crops, pulses and all were grown earlier, but nowadays only few pulses are grown. Whatever it is, but that is going to lead the loss in the varieties, either plant or animal or wherever. Then climate influence on the bioresources, number may decline, variety may decline, specific area population may decline. The varieties that are existing in same place may vary, or there may be more negative interactions because survival of fittest. Uh, the let's say the temperature is more, that no native species are coming out there. There may be invasion by non-native. They are flourishing there. Then further they are releasing some chemical, what you call allelochemics, and they are further suppressing the native species. So in that interactions, the its number will be lost, natives number, or earlier there may be 20 variety and they have removed 5, 6 because they were growing in that area. Then so we have only 15, 12 like that. So this may be not exactly because of climate, but yes, climate is also one major driver who can directly interfere the site, and it can alter the site, and thereby now that is not a specialized niche of varieties, thereby the impacted. Water, though many you see nowadays, a lot of programs are going on by Government of India on rejuvenation of springs, lake, some rivers, either like perennial had been converted to seasonal, and then some of them they are dying, not coming, either land degradation way or lesser precipitation, or somewhere the drainage system, natural drainage has been encroached or damaged by some action. So in these given situation, the water availability and water, as I have said, for the case of the plant, no move of elements in the producer. And same, we say that everywhere there is 80% water. So we can understand that what is going to happen. And that's why nowadays a lot of rejuvenation programs are going on to make the water available everywhere, so that the lateral recharge and other thing can be. And if if it has to come to us, the human health, then definitely there are various diseases, population of some microbes, some insect will increase on low or high temperature, low or high precipitation. There may be different kind of diseases may come out, and it may be disastrous to the human health and all. So like that, the most of the sector, if we will look of, as we are directly, indirectly governed by the light, temperature, and water, then if atmosphere is not supportive, so all will be impacted by this. A lot of people, they are talking on the vulnerability nowadays. So like I thought that we can look off that the vulnerable society because of this climate change with respect to resources. So the one who are going to be directly influenced, and the impact will be more, always poorer, Jhumias, because the site is non-productive in due course of time, and in that case, like many places you will find the land is lying abandoned, it is left. There is a fellowship called Satoyama in JSPS for plant sciences. They have a scheme called Satoyama. So we will look up, most of the cultivars, they left their land and they moved towards the job. And then abandoned land had been occupied in such a way, the productive potential had been lost. And then they have to dependent on the food grains on the neighboring countries and all. So later on, the government of Japan, they decided that let the scientists come from the different parts of the globe and look up how we can restore this land, abandoned land to the culturable land and productivity so that we can dependent on the food grains, self sufficient production of the food grain. But anyway, the Jhumias will be many is like poor people you will find they are collecting various NTFPs from the forest. If its production is less and they are selling to the market and they are surviving, they are generating some 500 bucks or 200 bucks per day and then families are sustained. But if in changing environment scenario, resources are impacted, then they are going to be negatively impacted. So NTFP collectors will be there, artisans who made the design by the wood carving and other thing. Livestock fodder problem may be there. Flood prone area, like look of the, it is the Assam is the better example where like rainy season you will find a lot area gets submerged or look up the our neighboring country Bangladesh. Lot of water from Brahmaputra it goes and submerge the area in Bangladesh. So, and then the herbal practitioner. Northeast India is very rich in traditional knowledges and all. So they will be. So for that, like Northeast India, we are good in social capital, safety net, benefit sharing. We have lot resources of food, medicine, healthcare, lesser healthcare in the traditional healthcare, then lesser chance of crop failure because of diversity. Water we are abundant. So this is the good as far as the resources, natural resources is concerned in Northeast India. But we are also at the same time, we are weak in like infrastructure because of the of accessibility of we don't have every district, every let's say block and all with good healthcare facility. So that is one. And then agricultural production low because we have lesser settled agriculture. Particularly if we will take the example of Mizoram, then hardly like we have area where we go for settled agriculture. We are keep on shifting or like that. That we have more. We have like Mizoram University is the one. There may be 50 people from the university who is working on the climate change. And but if you will go to Guwahati, there are many university institutions and all. So that is again infrastructure and availability of resources who are doing. But in general, most part of the Northeast India, we are not so updated on the climate change database or impact or adaptation or mitigation measures and all. If we have to look of to the best of my knowledge, I think hardly we have 3-4 meteorological stations in Northeast India. We may have one in Cherrapunji, one in Silchar, one in Guwahati Airport. I hope this Tejpur side, not Tejpur side, I hope Dibrugarh side they have hardly limited number. And like automatic weather stations and all may not be functional. So until or unless we don't have long-term data on climate, we cannot do much on it. The 5-10 years data it may not be so precise to predict something or to develop some policy. So could be one weakness we have. Poverty, yes, one issue, over industrialization, socioeconomic status and all. That's why we are more dependent on the resources. But again, we have many opportunities here. like we can be like citrus and all, they have the many research why varieties in Meghalaya and all people they are doing. Like we have variety whenever it has to go for breeding programs and all, we can take the wild variety and come up with this. We are very rich in the traditional knowledges and all, which can be documented, which can be copyright and that too. Then we have to work more on the healthcare system and all. So like these are the sectors where the opportunities are very high and we can work with too. And then the many actions to be known. The harvesting system, Mizoram is the best example for working with the more larger level. Then like rejuvenation, I was saying, no, to integrated water resource management, because tomorrow we have to work with the mm, integrated management of water. And then storage facility, we are very weak. Hardly we have the cold storage in different parts of the country. Sorry, of Northeast India. Assam maybe many, but other states I don't know. We are producing a lot of oranges, pineapple, and ginger, potatoes, different places. But many, like I served for longer period in Arunachal. I think there is no storage in whole state. They are coming to one storage in Assam. They have, so they are coming down that side. Anyway, then we have to look for the forest fire. Forest fire alarms are there nowadays. Survey of India, no, sorry, Forest Survey of India. They are maintaining a website where they are maintaining the precision, how the forest fire is taking place at national level, when, where, how, and so that the concerned authority can take appropriate actions. The capacity building, yes, R&D is we have to work with. So vice versa, something we can look up. Like I thought that I must say something on this, like rather than taking the small scale actions, result, field result, why not to come up with the bigger result? So nowadays, like to support us, ISRO has developed one center in Northeast India also, Northeastern Space Application Center in Meghalaya, Umiam, where there are skilled persons are there. The primary aim of them to assist the all the state government of 80 states, train the manpower in these states, and education, training, capacity building, all these, they are there. So they are working. So we can collaborate with them, and then we can work with. So some they are working even at their own level or in collaborations with this ISRO also, as we are collecting the long-term database on the timberline shift and the phenology of some of the plant in alpine area of Northeast India. We have developed some station funded by ISRO in Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. So from almost 9 years, we are working on it in alpine, and we are trying to like, as I was saying, the plants are very sensitive. Its phenology is directly related with the desired light, temperature, this and that. As its like pattern is changing, my behavior is changing, then I can establish that something is wrong. This flowering was taking place during this month and not taking, now is shifted 1 month later. And then we will correlate with the temperature or light data of that solar radiation of that month in the past. And then if is same, then we can establish no, yes, because we know if germination is there, then this light intensity is required. Or if initiation of bud is there, this light intensity is required, or this moisture or temperature is required. So we find that like the trees which are not growing in higher regions, now slowly they are shifting up and up, because the temperature which they need was below, now is upside. Therefore, their seeds and all are dispersed and germinated and growing. So like that, this we can take that the integrated approach of remote sensing GIS, and then we can work for the sustainable development. And like this, I brought one slide. You can apply any field this, because this is a map, and map whatever data you want to show, you can show. You can interlink, you can connect the point-based data. Suppose if I am saying how many patients are there due to malaria, due to diarrhea, COVID, this area, then your database can be linked with the point. Anybody can click this, that. For that, we have collected from the ground, and then that database you are bringing in the GIS environment. Land use maps are created. Similarly, the vulnerable map you can make, the lake you can say, some niche modeling you can do. So like that, I thought that we can also look off that the geospatial technology in the natural resources management. So this is very particular. I will not talk on it, may not be of use to all, but maybe some who is from life science and all can understand. Like if we say that the carbon capture, carbon stock, land use, suitability, where to develop what infrastructure. So this kind of output can be developed in this geospatial technology. Like this, the various indices which are available in the softwares, you can apply this in your area and you can create, and then you can validate it from the ground. Okay, which of the indices can give the better result? And what is my accuracy based on the ground reality check, you can say, and then you can recommend. So in future, this kind of study anybody can do, for which can be for larger area, so that it can be of use to the planners and all. So this is one. Second, like this tries to find out the biomass, okay, how biomass is distributed in a given area. This is some block of, I think is Arunachal. Some master's student they did for this. And like earlier slide, we have said certain indices. So it says that if we are using soil adjusted vegetation index, then that can give the better result as compared to the normalized differential vegetation index. And then third was SABI and differential vegetation index, DVI. DBI, SABI, and NDVI. So it says like this. Then this is like a study done by some research scholar of mine who predicted, like he worked for 2000, 2010, 2000, 2090, 2000 and 2010, because this work is in 2012, it got awarded PhD. He says that looking at the trend that is going on, the Kamrup will look like, the land use will go like this. So now, if suppose I am taking just yellow color, cultivated land, so much expansion of the cultivation area, then we have to look up, no, what will happen? if we are not going to look up today for the soil moisture management, manure treatment, soil aspects and all, then tomorrow the productivity of the crop will be lesser. In that scenario, we have to look for a what what can be. So it has forecasted in 2031 the Kamrup will look like this. Previously, there is 4 more slide. I brought only one. What was the situation in 90, 2000, 2010, and 20, then this 30. So 21 and 31, it was predicted. Decadal, it was no 10-10 year interval. So it was 2011, and then 31. So like that, if we can use the all environmental and other issues can be addressed properly. Now, like I was saying, we are lacking. This is a study in Tirap district of Arunachal Pradesh by one master's student. And like we tried to find out, okay, if we have to develop some cold storage to store the resources that are out there, which they don't have, then the like these spots, this says that the like this red, not red, yeah, violet or red color, you can say that these are the potential site. Now, how it had been done, like all production, road network, cultivars, soil, this market, all drivers have been pulled together, and then it has been forecasted or modeled that this is how it will be. Or the downside trade point it has been developed. If because next is the Myanmar, if Tirap district has to develop some trade point with the neighboring countries or neighboring state Assam, then where it can be. Then it says that this color says that these are the more suitable sites, more suitable and least suitable, high suitable and marginally suitable. So like that kind of study to understand that the all atmospheric and resources issues of that area in consideration so that we can go. So this is, and then nowadays, like we are talking to the degradation, this, that. I just put one slide, like a lot of developmental actions are taking place. So thereby we have to take care that wherever is mandatory, like it goes on, but that impact assessment must be in a proper way, because many hydropower and other thing. Look up the environment of Uttarakhand recently, and the report says that it is because of the hydropower, high frequency of hydropower setup, are there discharge setup, tunnel that has been to carry out the stored water to the well side and all. So because of that, very recently from last 1-2 months, it is in high news that many tracks and all have been visualized, and then translocation of or shifting of the people settled out there is going on in different parts. So like that, we have to look of whenever there is any developmental aspects and all. Okay, tomorrow there must not be a this like Mizoram. I don't find much on this, but road and all, so definitely we must go through with this. But hydropower, I have a concern for the state of Arunachal Pradesh, because very high potential due to perennial river and then vast amount of water is coming from the glaciers and all. So in future, if many settlement of hydropower will take place, there must be some rigorous impact assessment. Although many other petroleum and some gas are also coming out, uh, like I'm in one committee. Arunachal, to Vedanta group, they are willing to establish 3 wells. First, what they call it, like they will explore, no? There is a possibility of petroleum there. So 3 places they have proposed, and now this process of EIA is going on. Once they will get to, they will do that, but we have to look of it so that the environment should not be degraded at otherwise like all these problems will come up. And this can influence human ecosystem, climate change, resources like global warming, ozone depletion. Ozone depletion, so you might be aware, no? Like we are buried, like it was recognized only because we have lot many leprosy cases. If you will go in history of it, they started crying on ozone because of only that. If this leprosy patient could not be cured, no? In spite they were given the best medicine. Anyway, this is all you know, like various problems associated with the resources that is prevailing in an area. So you all relax. With this, I will end the some plants which are of very high value, taxus, anti-cancer. Rhododendron nowadays, if you will go in hill stations and all, no, you will get sauce and all from. Other than that, they prepare a lot of color, no, from this. So very high market of rhododendron sauce and all. Then Coptis theta have very high medicinal value. Daphne also. There's some religious actions done by the Buddhist tribe. This though you know, yak on the Elysium is a, this is Elysium, no? Some this condiments, no, spices, this plant, lot of revenues are generated by this. So with this, I ended my presentation. And question, Professor Burma, anybody from HRDC?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
we are
Burma
here,
sir.
sir. We are listening,
Bhartendu
sir.
sir, namaskar.
Yes, sir. Namaskar, namaskar, sir.
Sir, I think I am not getting any question in question answer box. So if anything,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir. There is no question. We have not yet received any question, sir. So, dear participants, if you are having any question, please put up quickly so that sir can respond on that. Anyone? Any question? Sir, only thank yous are coming, sir.
Oh, thanks to both the organizer and deputy director giving the time for me to share my experiences.
So, sir, one,
Sir, one question came. Sir, one question is there in Q&A box.
Yeah. Does cloud seeding help in gaining soil moisture? I will suggest no, it can, but sometime if we will go against the nature, then definitely that will be disastrous. It's better that we will rejuvenate the water body, allow the transmission of and transpiration, and the evapotranspiration, let the cloud form and then rain. Otherwise, with something we are launching to brush the cloud. So definitely some of the chemical constituents are going to be aided in the atmosphere, as well as the something coming on the ground also who may not be good for the human health. Because China, they are trying this kind of experiment. Sometimes they burst the, on some occasion, to make the ground like dust free, they do this cloud burst. But this will be so expensive. How we will encourage this for farmer and all, having negative impact also. So it's better that put our hand together in rejuvenating the restoring all water bodies and all, not allowing much to go in the, let's say, the river and oceans. Let the recharge and soil moisture retain. I think this is the one which I can say. Rest of the one who asked question can tell if he has something more to hear. Oh,
Sir,
okay.
so one Anudhuti, she is asking, fog harvesting may be good option to restore soil moisture.
Yes, yes. This organic farm, not only organic farming, even like somewhere I cited the example of Punjab also, no? They are growing some leguminous crop and they are plowing, and then because this will change the soil texture. And if texture is changed, automatically the water holding capacity of the soil as well as the retention of soil will be changed. Humus will be added in soil. So even the organic farming also, because I think most part of the like hilly area of the Northeast India, they don't use much chemical and pesticides. So it's organic farming only, but if we are going integrating some leguminous crops and all, that will be even better in this situation. And is saying something else, sir. Cold storage facility was a huge hurdle. So that this problem is there, but the government has to find out some suitable sites, because my experience says that we have a lot of pineapple and oranges production. And because of poor this facility or processing unit, even food processing unit also, we don't have much. Most of it goes like at very low cost and is not so viable. Many farmers, they have left their orchards abandoned and all. In that case, though, the policy has to be looked up. There are techniques which can say, sir, where it can be. So I think guessing can be satisfied if.
So one Aditya Kant, he is just asking, can you suggest some books on ethnopharmacy in northeastern region?
Ethnopharmacy, to be very frank, very honest, I cannot suggest. He can, because I am not the man who is working on ethnobotany and all. Blindly, I cannot suggest, but if he need, he can write back to me. I can ask some taxonomists or ethnobotanists who are working on it, and then I can communicate.
Okay, okay. So, in this way, your lecture is all over, and whatever the questions and doubt arises already we addressed, and you answered to all the questions. So, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable experience and giving your valuable time to our participant, and enriching them by your vast knowledge and experience. On the behalf of the HRDC Mizoram University, I would like to give my heartfelt thanks to you for accepting our invitation. Sir, office will contact you. Already you are from our system, so you know the formality and other things. So office will contact you for official procedure. So thank you. And dear participant, in this way today all the sessions we completed. Again, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we will start as usual our class. So for today, good night. stay happy. Okay, tomorrow morning again we will meet 10 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Bhatmandu sir,
हाँ जी
एक दो जो था